Hey guys, back back with this. Gonna continue. As you walk home the streets as from the recent rainfall, you know that your significant other will be in class until late, another couple hours at least. You briefly consider using this serendipitous solitude to catch up on that project that you've been working on haphazardly for the past few months. I'm sorry, some of these words are like really hard to read. Oh, there's how the choices are. As soon as you think about the work that awaits you at home, you can feel the panic creeping in from the back of your brain, unbidden, unbidden. All you can think about is how incredibly far behind you are, and the amount of work seems nothing less than unsurmountable. By the time you arrive home and change out of your uncomfortable work clothes, the stress is weighing down on you like a heavy, wet wool blanket. Your computer seems to be staring you down from your desk. You want to sit down and work, but the mere thought of trying to work sends your stress levels flying. More than anything, you feel suddenly and absolutely exhausted and feel a strong desire to simply hide in bed. And then it says do you, and that's where you select your choices. My goal is going to be to have the person less depressed by the end. um, and that's, like I said, I played this game before and that's how I got it. But it lets you know at the bottom how you're doing. It says you are depressed, interaction is exhausting, and you are becoming more and more withdrawn. You are not currently seeing a therapist. You are not currently taking medication for depression. And by the end, I want that to say, um, you are seeing a therapist, you're taking medication, and you're getting better. So our choices are reluctantly sit down at your desk and try to make yourself do something. Turn on the TV telling yourself you just need a quick half hour to unwind from work. Crawl into bed, you're so stressed and overwhelmed you couldn't possibly accomplish anything. With depression, you want to try to get stuff done because you're pushing yourself to get better. So I'm going to make him sit down at the desk and try to get something done. You make a stop at your fridge, turn your favorite playlist on, and sit down to start working. You open the last file you were working on, and as soon as your hands touch the keyboard, your mind goes blank. All of your motivation and ideas you had when you arrived home vanish in a flash. Your brain seizes up, and you find yourself physically incapable of any sort of productive thought. You take a break to loosen up, popping into your email box, Twitter, and various other internet based distraction folder. Frustratingly, this pattern continues throughout the course of the evening. As soon as you try to and focus on work, your brain diverts all its energy away from the task at hand. While you keep flipping back to your work, you find the sheer mental effort involved in keeping your brain focused is overwhelming and tiring. A few Twitter arguments, YouTube videos, and sparse amounts of actual work later, your playlist flips back to the track one, and the ice in your glass has all but melted, diluting the last dregs of the coke you were nursing. And looking at the clock and realizing that a few hours have passed since you sat down to work, and you've made negligible progress. I can just wake up early tomorrow and catch up, you think to yourself as you climb into bed, even though you know that never actually happens. Alright, so now you are very depressed. You spend a long amount of time sleeping, hating yourself, and having very little energy or motivation. You're not currently seeing a therapist. You are not currently taking medication for depression. It's a mild Friday afternoon. Alex calls you from one of her classes, telling you that there's going to be a really awesome birthday party tonight at her apartment that one of her roommates is throwing. You've hung out with this roommate a few times with Alex, and you get along well enough, but aren't particularly close. You don't have to work in the morning, and have nothing else in particular to do tonight. You're feeling kind of run down, but you have been fatigued most of the time lately. You mentioned that you're feeling ill because you're not sure how else to explain it. How else to explain those feelings to someone else and say that you aren't sure that you can make it tonight. There's a second of silence over your phone, but you can swear you can hear the sound of your partner's face fall. She tries to convince you anyway. You haven't seen her this week, and she sounds pretty insistent that you come over. She even drops a few suggestively worded hints that you can stay over with them tonight after the party. I don't want this guy to lose his girlfriend, so I'm gonna say for him to go. I don't know if you guys can hear the music or not, so I'm just gonna keep putting my headphones over, but every time the sound changes. You agree to go even though you're really not feeling social. You know it's important to Alex, and you'd really like to see her. Seeing her does make you feel better sometimes, and you hope that this is the case tonight, even if it does mean dealing with all of the usual social anxiety. The time to leave rolls around, and you grab your overnight bag. Alex's apartment is a short walk away, and there are already people hanging out on the porch. You feel your chest tighten as you approach the building and try to steel your nerves. You quickly find your partner chatting away with the birthday girl, and Alex immediately lightens up when she sees you. "I'm so happy you came. I wasn't sure if you were going to make it." A young man taps her on the shoulder, and she turns back to you to apologize and let you know they have to do something for the party. Alex hands you a beer and plants a kiss on your cheek before going off to deal with whatever came up. As you look around, you don't see anyone else you recognize. Awkwardly stand in the same spot, unsure what else to do. Put your bag in Alex's room and avoid the crowd in there for a while. Cling to the back wall, sip your beer, and wait for your girlfriend to return. Proceed to drink in earnest, hoping it makes you less uncomfortable. I want to choose the socialized one, but we can't for some reason. You're very stressed. You spend a large amount of time sleeping, hating yourself, and a very, very little energy or motivation. You're not currently seeing a therapist. You're not currently taking medication for depression. I don't want to drink because then that could turn us into an alcoholic, and it won't help with depression. But it is a party where he's supposed to be relaxing and having fun. Let's just cling to the back wall. As Alex leaves, you are not quite sure what to do with yourself. Standing in the middle of the room leaves you feeling kind of exposed, and you don't feel ballsy enough to randomly approach any of the groups of people clustered together talking. You head to a clear spot on the back wall and lean against it. For some reason, this always feels a lot more secure. You scan the party for a familiar face or any sign of your partner, and come up with nothing. Not sure what else to do, and worrying that you must look creepy just standing there watching everyone. You take out your phone to busy yourself. 20 semi-tedious games of Bejeweled Blitz later, your partner returns, and you spend the rest of the night with Alex, occasionally being introduced to people and nodding along with group conversations, even if you don't participate that much. At the end of the night, as you're falling asleep with your girlfriend in the crook of your arm, she thanks you again for coming. Half drunk, she confides that she thought you were going to flake out and was pleasantly surprised that you managed to come out. She says it lovingly, but you're not quite sure how you feel about